What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Monday night edition of Endgame Live. At least that's what we'll call it. We're here to answer your start sit questions. I mean, hey, it's true. We're live, and this is the fancy Endgame. So there you go. Endgame Live. Monday
I
night.
like it.
Look, you might have last minute start sit questions. Chargers facing the Jets tonight. Sometimes you need a couple of points just to pull it out. Don't know who to play. And hey, Josh Palmer, who I realized after the fact I had in a couple of lineups, is out and he's on IR, in fact. So if you were counting on him, well, you might need to pivot or maybe just want to know which tight end to stream. Whatever it is, let us know. You want to celebrate your wins, mourn your losses. Ask us if you have a chance. We'll give you the honest truth. Also, good time to look ahead to waiver wire picks for this coming week. You're going to need it. I said on the video, you're going to need help, right? Even the best teams out there are going to probably need to look at the waiver wire because the Chiefs are on bye, the Dolphins are on bye, the Eagles are on bye, and the Rams. Pretty much the most fantasy friendly teams out there. Yeah, they're all off in the same time. Just one of those weeks. Do you know? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I feel like this is worse than the week where there were 6 teams on bye because these 4 teams have more fantasy starters combined.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, this is worse. This is definitely worse. I mean, no Dolphins, no Chiefs, no Eagles. I mean, I don't know. If Matthew Stafford wasn't playing, maybe you weren't starting the Rams anyways, but yeah, pretty brutal for 4 teams to be on bye the same week for sure.
Good timing for most of those teams. Great timing for the Rams, who just can't win these days. And of course, they want Stafford to get right. They're going to get probably Kyren Williams after the bye. So it's perfect timing for the Rams. They needed this. And of course, Dolphins, Chiefs coming back from Germany. So smartly, the league decided to give them the week to kind of recuperate and get back right. What about the Eagles? Think about that Eagles-Cowboys game. That was a finish. That came down to the wire, and the Cowboys almost somehow pulled it out. What do you think of that penalty at the very end there? Some people saying that it shouldn't have been, whatever. I mean, I don't know. Cowboys really were kind of lucky to be in that position in the first place, but you think it was just a well-earned victory by the Eagles?
Yeah, I'm never gonna blame the refs for a win or a loss because there's a lot of plays that go into it. I will say, it did feel like everything that could go right went right for the Eagles in that game. I mean, DeAndre Swift fumbled twice, and both times somehow, the Eagles recovered it. Well, the first time he recovered it, and the second time the Eagles. If he loses one of those fumbles, I mean, if Dak doesn't just barely step out on that 2-point conversion, now they only need a field goal instead of a touchdown. I mean, there was a lot of things that went the Eagles' way in that game. I'm not making excuses here. I'm not a Cowboys fan by any stretch. I'm always happy when the Cowboys lose, but certainly just looking at it unbiasedly, there were a lot of things that went the Eagles' way. I think, obviously you don't want to take, it's never like moral victories or anything, but I think the Cowboys have to feel pretty good about the fact that they hung with the Eagles, on the road too. That's the other thing. Remember, they were in Philly. So that was the game I was most looking forward to for fantasy. It wasn't the most exciting game of the day. That was probably Houston, Tampa Bay, shockingly. But it certainly had a lot of fantasy goodness in that Eagles game, unless, of course, you had Tony Pollard again.
There are no moral victories, especially in fantasy football. No such thing exists. But you've got to feel encouraged by Dak Prescott. He's come through now multiple weeks in a row. It's like, people were writing him off, and now he's putting up big numbers week after week. So got to feel good about him. Got to feel good about the fact that multiple players are emerging in that passing game. Jake Ferguson's looking almost like a set and forget tight end if he continues this way. Jalen Tolbert, forgot he was on the team. He's on the team. I mean, we'll see. A little early to declare him, like a waiver wire pickup. I'm not going to go that far after one game, but it's definitely somewhat encouraging for the Cowboys. So, all right. And then other big news before we get to your questions and your comments, because we want to help you out. That's why we're here. We're going to have some big name players coming back in week 10. So first and foremost, Kyler Murray, now official. He is definitely going to play, and I'm pretty sure that watching Clayton Tune yesterday might have cinched the deal. Like, he probably was going to play anyways, but I'm pretty sure that was like the cherry on top. Like, okay, Kyler, you're good now. But what do you expect from Kyler first week back?
Certainly, I expect some rust. I don't expect, like, it'd be very hard for me to put him in my lineup right away unless I was very desperate, very desperate. I mean, 2 QB, super flex, and you don't have maybe your second QB, maybe you have Jalen Hurts on by, maybe you have Mahomes on by, maybe you have 2 on by, and you're like, look, I don't have any better options. Sure, but in 1 QB, I'd be very, very nervous. But I will say this: we should all be the biggest Kyler Murray fans this week. I don't care what you think of Kyler Murray, his gaming, his attitude, whatever. They're playing the Falcons. The Falcons are enemy number 1. They're uniting the entire fantasy football world. Arthur Smith, the villain that's uniting us all. We should all be rooting for Kyler Murray to go out there and beat the Falcons this week. Please, Kyler, beat the Falcons.
This is more of a college thing. In college, the rivalries are intense, right? It's like the shirts that, for me, growing up in South Florida, it's, I'm in San Antonio now, but growing up in Miami, it was my favorite team is the Hurricanes and whoever's playing against FSU, right? And that given week. I think you can say rightfully my favorite team now is whoever your favorite team is, doesn't matter, and whoever is playing against the Falcons. Because all we want is Atlanta to lose enough so that Smith is gone. I mean, we just don't need this in our lives. We don't. It doesn't help anybody. And I really hate the fact that they have as many wins as they do, because you can't just look and say, oh, like with the Giants and that record and that state of, what they are right now, you'd be like, they just need to blow it up, right? But Dayball was good last year. He seems to be not like he's the problem. He seems to be a good coach. I don't think it's him. I think it's the GM and the personnel and all that. But anyways, Atlanta's not out of it, right? They're 4-5 now, or is it 4 and 5?
4-5, but yeah.
I don't know. If they lose, it would be 3 in a row. If they lose to Arizona,
3 in a row and 3 bad. That's the thing. 4-5 is about the worst they should be, right? I mean, they played Will Levis making his first start. They played, I guess, Josh Dobbs playing on 5 days' notice, basically, with the Vikings, and they lost that game. I mean, they've had a very easy schedule. But yeah, we need I don't really get it. Like with Bijan, I don't get it, because it's not like, it would be one thing if like Bijan was struggling and Tyler Algier was playing well. Tyler Algier is horrible. He's horrible. He had like 2 yards of carry, negative yards receiving, like getting stuffed at the goal line. Okay, he scored that second touchdown late in the game, but I mean, it's not like Tyler Algier. Like Bijan Robinson has been great this year. He hasn't gotten a lot of touches like we'd like, but with his touches, he's been fantastic. He's been one of the best running backs in the NFL, as expected. And like Arthur Smith is like, nah, we're good. Yeah, we need to get this guy out of here. Get this guy out of here.
Needless to say, at this point, we just, as big a fan as we are, Bijan, we can't say he's a must start. I can't say any Atlanta Falcon is a start with any confidence, and that's just how it's going to be. At least if there's one positive about Art Smith, we can say is at least he's keeping Bijan legs nice and fresh for next year for a new coach.
Let's hope. Let's hope that second part is true, man.
Let's hope. All right. So we got some questions lined up. Let's go help you out there. But first, you do have less than 2 hours. Monday Night Football is almost here. The Chargers against the Jets, even against the Jets and that defense, I feel fairly confident Justin Herbert will get a yard, either passing or running or receiving or something. Just total yards. Just needs one. If he does that and you take the higher, you win that pick. Combine it with any other pick, you triple your money. Now, this is the new customer special. So again, if you have not tried Underdog yet, this is the time to do it. But when you sign up, make sure you use our promo code ENDGAME, because aside from that special pick, it guarantees you 100% deposit match up to $500. So again, for those who have not tried it yet, go ahead and do it. Check it out. You got the pick'ems. They got drafts too, not just football, NBA, NHL, WNBA, every sport out there, all the different picks. Look at that. There you go. The lobby. We don't really show you all the lobby too much. These are the tournaments they have. The pick'ems are just part of what they have to offer. But you can do small 2-person, 3-person drafts just to have the fun of the weekly redraft thing. They have all sorts of tournaments there, as you can see. We can do just the early slate, just the late slate, just the Monday night slate, and you can enter those little drafts. They have all sorts of ranges, $5 entries, $10, $25, $100, whatever you like. You can pick. There you go, the 2-minute drill, the afternoon only. So there's just so many different options there. It's easy, it's fun. So again, Underdog Fantasy, check it out now. Make sure you use our promo code to take advantage of all those special offers. All right, let's get to the comments, though. I do feel confident that Justin Herbert will get a yard.
Yes.
I wish I could have more confidence for Boomer.
Oh,
only needs 62 this week. I think last week it was 53. We're moving backwards.
Well, let's see. What is that, like 5 touchdowns and a sack?
5 pick sixes.
More than that. It's like,
15.
8 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns, and like a couple. Yeah, I mean, you never know. Sorry, Boomer.
Maybe like 7 pick sixes or scoop and scores.
Scoop and scores, a kick return. Hey, you never know.
Hey, I mean, it's not mathematically impossible. That's all I'll say.
This one might be, actually.
Not mathematically. Rise above anything. What's up? Someone trying to send Gibbs for Devontae Adams.
Yeah. How good are we feeling about Devontae Adams right now?
Not great, but I think I'm still holding Adams here because, David Montgomery is coming back.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm still. I mean, I don't feel good about either of these guys, honestly, because Monty is coming back. Dan Campbell pretty much said that, right? Like he's back this week.
Oh yeah, he's back.
I mean, you gotta hope Adams turns it around, but I mean, Aiden O'Connell what's the upside here? I mean, yeah, I guess hold Adams.
Could get better.
I'd be trying to trade Adams right now if I could. I mean, there's still people who believe in him as believe in the talent and believe in him as a wide receiver 1 this year. I'd be looking to trade him, I think.
Well, I'll say this. They didn't need to throw the ball at all in that game against the Giants, right? They were just running. There will be games they have to throw more. O'Connell, just his second start. He'll get a little bit better. I feel like he'll be better. I'm not, trying to talk myself into Devontae Adams' top 10 receiver rest of the season. I'm just saying I'm not giving up on a guy like him. So with Gibbs, that's the thing. If you're getting a stud running back, okay, but you don't want to buy high on Gibbs. So okay, if it was David Montgomery for Devontae Adams, maybe I'd take Montgomery.
Maybe. I don't know. I still feel like Adams is worth more than that just because of name value. But I mean, I might prefer Montgomery, but I feel like just on name value, you can get more.
All right, now a guy who may be coming back soon. I don't know if we heard anything concrete. Apparently, it's not going to be an extended absence, but JJ, thoughts?
Yeah, I think what we heard from Kevin O'Connell was they may open his 21-day window. So I really don't think we're going to see him this week. But at least it opens it. If they do open his 21-day window, that means in the next 3 weeks, at any point, they can activate him. So doubt we see him week 10, maybe week 11, probably more like week 12.
Yeah, I really don't expect him this week.
Yeah.
But soon. Should be soon. So at this point, if there is a buy low window, it's going to close pretty soon. So I'd say pretty high. Josh Dobbs, he's not Kirk Cousins, but he's effective. He can get the ball to receivers. I think the offense will be okay. So
yeah,
Mary Jo finally broke the century mark, up by 15. Opponent has Keenan Allen. What do you think?
Well, you say finally over 100. Is this half PPR standard?
Actually, if I remember, I think she plays in a standard league. So in that case, I would feel pretty good about winning.
Yeah, if this is a standard scoring league, I'd feel pretty good because, I mean, Keenan Allen's got to have like 100 yards and a touchdown to get 16. And that's a big game against the Jets. So I like your chances. I like your chances.
Yeah, Keenan Allen definitely could do that. But in this matchup, yeah, I think I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good for you. I mean, I'm hoping you pull it out. Although I do notice I have Keenan Allen in a couple leagues, so I also wouldn't hate a big game from him. All right, Pedro Navarez down 32, got Garrett Wilson or Quentin Johnson at my flex.
I mean, definitely Garrett Wilson. He's got the better matchup, better player, better situation. Definitely Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson by a mile. And then at defense, Jets or Chargers. That's interesting because obviously we know who's the better defense, but we also know who's the better offense.
Yeah. I don't know. It's pretty close, honestly. I don't really expect a big defensive game from either of these, but Jets are at home. They've got an elite defense. Justin Herbert will take sacks. He will turn the ball over. I think I'm going with the Jets at home.
I'm going with the Jets. And I said, we had a few questions, defensive streaming questions, this, whatever defense like Minnesota or Jets. And I was like, I'm fine with the Jets. Herbert isn't immune to throwing interceptions, right? He will, not a ton. This is a legit good defense. So, yeah, I would just go Jets and Garrett Wilson, and good luck. All right, now, Boomer, the good news is that I'll have the second pick on the waiver wire, and the guy who has first probably not going to use his claim. So, who is the priority? Are you going Keaton Mitchell or Noah Brown?
I mean, I'm still not 100% sold on Keaton Mitchell, but I think I got to go Keaton Mitchell over Noah Brown. We're talking about like the slot wide receiver for the Texans versus potentially, a running back getting touches in the Ravens offense. So it's just more the running back is just more valuable. Like Noah Brown is never going to be a guy. Like, sure, if you're in a pinch, you can put Noah Brown in, but he's not going to be a guy that's going to be a staple in your lineup.
Right. That's
so
a little
you might
deeper.
as well just pick up Keaton Mitchell and see how it goes. I mean, John Harbaugh today basically said, like, yeah, he might get some touches. He might not. It'll depend on the game flow, who's got the hot hand, what running backs are tired. I mean, it's not going to be like one guy dominating the touches here. But again, he's got the juice. It's a great offense for running backs. So I'd rather gamble on Keaton Mitchell.
Yeah, and so I'm explained this in the video for waiver is I talked about Noah Brown because we already talked about Tank Dell a couple of times, early in the season on waivers. I think it's pretty obvious he's a strong pickup. Like I didn't feel compelled to talk and say, hey, Tank Dell is a guy you should pick up. I think everybody knows that already if you didn't have him. Noah Brown's a guy who in our leagues and the leagues that, a lot of our viewers watch is realistically more attainable, but also he's going to be involved. I think he's somebody who's streamable. But looking at your roster, you're fine on receiver. Yes, and that includes Devontae Smith. Running back is just more valuable generally. But I will say this. I'm not even putting any claim on Keaton Mitchell this week. Like I talked about him because you have to talk about him, but I don't guarantee, but I predict less than 30 yards this week for Keaton Mitchell. Less than 30.
This game, Baltimore, Cleveland. Oh, man.
It was just one of those games. It was garbage time. Basically, all his yards came in the second half of a game that was already a blowout. It was garbage time, and they were running all over the place. What's his name? Likely.
Yeah.
The tight end, the backup tight end for Baltimore was getting catches. Why? Because they could. Like just because
Odell Beckham caught a touchdown pass from Tyler Huntley.
Yes.
Not even from Lamar, from Tyler Huntley.
That tells you all you need to know. Anyways, I mean, if it's me, I'm picking up Noah Brown, but on your team, maybe you take a chance on Mitchell. Hey, maybe Gus Edwards gets hurt. So there you go. Hopefully not. All right, Bobby Brooke. Greetings from England. Down 37 with Keenan Allen with no kicker. Should I drop one of those guys for Dicker the kicker or Zerline? I mean, I think Logan Thomas is droppable, right?
Yeah, you could drop Logan Thomas. I assume you have a different tight end since you didn't play Logan Thomas this week. And you don't need
Right.
Logan Thomas. So, yeah. And as far as which kicker, I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe the Jets kicker because they're at home.
I guess honestly, like I know all the kickers' names. I don't know their stats. I can't tell you who's like the leading kicker in fantasy, who's got more field goals. Zerline has a stronger leg, but I know that Dicker's on a better offense, so I might go Dicker just for that reason. Let me look real quick. Do my very first of the year kicker research. So the most field goal attempts here, neither guy is in the top 10, sorry to say. Zerline is 18th. Wow. Cameron Dicker is 31st in field goal attempts among all kickers. That's not good. So I guess go Zerline. There you go. Better chance for field goals.
I always thought the rule was pick up a kicker on a good offense.
Well, actually, no. The best rule is to pick a kicker on a mediocre offense, an offense that's just good enough to like get near the red zone, but not good enough to actually get in the end zone.
Okay.
That's the rule. Because if you're, like the kicker for the Chiefs, not this year, but generally isn't the highest scoring because they score touchdowns, right? They know how to finish drives. Those kickers on those like kind of in between teams that get stalled out near the red zone, that's the kicker you want. That's why Young Oiku, Falcons, perfect example.
Oh, geez. Maybe if they use Bijan Robinson, they won't kick so many field goals.
Yeah, yeah. Let's not even go back there. Steven, 8-1. All right. Would you trade Bijan for Pollard or Saquon?
I mean, not for Pollard. Like, we feel better about Pollard. Like, Pollard, I feel way worse about than Bijan. I mean, oh, man. Like, yeah, can't feel good about Pollard.
No.
I want to say Saquon is closer, but we have to be very worried about Saquon. Now, look, Saquon is probably going to get the most touches of any running back from now till the end of the season.
Right.
Because we're looking at either Tommy DeVito or who's the other guy they had? Some name I haven't heard from like years.
I mean,
I forget.
Tyrod Taylor is going to IR, isn't he? Or he's on IR?
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor on IR. So
I don't even know.
It'll be a while till we see him.
Oh, it's Matt Barkley.
Matt Barkley, yes, Matt Barkley. That's right. See, a name I haven't heard from for a year. I didn't even know he was still in the league. Well, he's on the practice squad, I guess. But still, he's going to have to be the entire offense. The problem is, what is this offense going to be? It's going to be nothing. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be horrible.
Right.
So I'd probably just hold Bijan and hope it gets better. I mean, again, this is a situation like you look at Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard has not been very good, right? Like he just hasn't.
No,
he hasn't been the guy we saw last year. Like he just hasn't been that guy. Saquon's been great, but he's stuck in a terrible, terrible offense now with no hope, no hope in sight. I'd rather just bank on the talent of Bijan because it's not like Bijan has been bad. He's been fantastic. He's one of the best. Like if you look at his underlying stats. And I know, Pierre, I think you follow. Do you follow Jacob Gibbs?
Oh, yeah.
So Jacob Gibbs did this thing on Twitter where he looked at like running backfields and he compared them. And of course, he started with let me pull it up. He started with Bijan and Tyler Algier, and it's like this is what I mean. This is why I don't even understand. Like, so yards before here, I'll share this so you guys can see it. So you don't have to hear me read it. I know we're a little slower on Monday, so we can take time to do this. So yards before contact per rush, 1.73 for Bijan, 0.3 for Algier. The NFL average is 1.27. Short yardage rushing. Bijan Robinson, 5.7 yards per attempt. Algier, 2.3. Success rate, 65 to 57. So he's better. Algier, they say like, well, he's the big guy, the short yards back, but Bijan Robinson's been better than him on that. Explosive rush, obviously Bijan smashes him because Algier is slow as molasses. So it's like, we're talking about with Bijan, it's not like an issue of like, oh, Bijan has been bad. It's just an issue is he's not getting enough volume, but he's been so good. I would just rather bank on the fact that at some point Arthur Smith just has to give him the ball more. Just has to, because he's just too good. Will it happen? I don't know. Will it happen? Probably not. But what are we getting from Pollard and Saquon rest this season? At least Bijan has a chance.
Right. I wouldn't hold out hope for him giving Bijan the ball more. What we hope for is, like you said, Steven, for him to disappear.
Yeah, or that.
That's probably wishful thinking. After the season, it probably will happen. I don't bet it's going to happen mid-season unless things completely fall apart. Like they lose by, 20 to Arizona. And then, there's this big thing. I mean, that's wishful thinking. So anyways, if he can't trade, pick 2, Bijan, White, Madison, Warren.
I mean, I think you got to play Rachaad White right now. I mean, I know it's a tough matchup this week, but man.
Oh, yeah.
He looks fantastic.
You got to feel encouraged there.
He looks fantastic right now.
He's like the only running back I can think of offhand that actually is trending up in midseason.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he looks great. He looks great, and they're using him. They're using him fantastically. I can't start Madison over Bijan, can I?
Oh no.
Or Warren over Bijan. I'm still going Bijan and Rachaad White.
Yeah.
I don't think I can start those guys.
Hope for the best. See Malav Shah. Would you pick up Downs or Romeo Dobbs to drop Addison?
Well, I would say Downs, like easily. Well, first of all, I'm not dropping Addison. No, not dropping Addison. So if you have to drop Addison to pick up one of these guys, then no. No, Addison was okay, right? 5 catches, 55 yards. And remember, Josh, there is no way Josh Dobbs knew that entire playbook. He just showed up on Wednesday. They probably had like half the playbook available in that game, and they still beat Arthur Smith and the Falcons. And I'm going to keep taking shots at Arthur Smith every chance I can, by the way. But I would say Downs, except now he tried to play through that knee injury, left very early in the game with the same knee injury. And now there's reports that they're trying out Sammy Watkins. You want to talk about a name from the past? They're trying out Sammy Watkins. Like, are we about to hear, like, is Josh Downs about to go on IR?
That's what I'm afraid of, because this is suspiciously similar to the Josh Palmer thing where questionable, but then gives it a go. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, he's going to miss a game. Like, okay. And then all of a sudden headed to IR, because when it's a knee, just the fact that it's a knee issue, that's worrisome, right? Just like a hand thing for a quarterback, Stafford Fields. It's a knee for a receiver. You got to worry. And the fact that he left early in that game, like it got, whatever it was, got triggered right away. So I'm worried for Downs. So no, don't do this. I mean, I don't feel like I want to drop Addison anyways, but even so, yeah, Downs, not so much. All right, Thomas. Chance the Jets get 22.
I mean, not great. It's possible. It's certainly. I mean, Boomer, sorry to tell you, but it's more possible than 62. I will say that, but that is a big defensive game. I mean, look, the Browns against Clayton Tune got 23. And that was about as good as it gets for a defense, right? There was like they'd shut him out. Clayton Tune did absolutely nothing. The Cardinals offense did absolutely nothing. And they got 23. 22 is a big number for defense. I mean, they need a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say I feel good enough about the Jets, against Herbert, like they could be startable. I don't feel like they're going to get 22 against the Chargers. I don't feel Herbert throwing 3-4 interceptions kind of thing. So if I had to slap a percentage on it, I'd say 8.
I was going to say 5. So
maybe 5. Yeah, I was going to go 5, but I didn't want any benchmark number. Jacob, we already pretty much talked about this. Is Bijan still safe? Nobody is safe in the shadow of Arthur Smith.
Yeah, no.
I mean, you still want to start him. Does he still have upside? Is the question.
Of course.
Yes.
Look, we can't ignore what he's done all year. It's not like Bijan has been bad all year. This isn't like last year with Najee Harris. So remember last year, Najee Harris, we were betting on second year running back making the leap, incredible volume and the pass catching. Well, he didn't make the leap. Najee Harris was actually bad last year. He was very bad last year. And he did not get insane volume, and he lost pass catching work to Jaylen Warren. Bijan Robinson has been mostly good to great this year, even in fantasy. If you take out that weird week 7 game or whatever it was, or whatever week it was, where he had the headache thing and he basically didn't play. If you take that game out, he's been good to great in fantasy prior to last week. So, yes, he still has plenty of upside. He's still a fantastic player. He's literally one of the best running backs in the NFL already. He's just getting misused by his head coach.
Right. And, Jacob and everybody else out there, again, the question we want to ask in fantasy is not safe. Nobody's safe.
Exactly.
Ever. Nobody. Remember, after 2 weeks, people were trading away, and for some reason, were dropping Jamar Chase because for 2 weeks, he did nothing for you. All good players have down games. All good players get injured. So nobody's safe, but the safe doesn't matter. Upside.
Right.
Go for upside.
Yeah, how safe has Travis Kelce been the last 2 weeks? Exactly. How safe was Tyreek Hill this week? How safe has Kenneth Walker been for your fantasy teams the last 2 weeks, by the way? Don't worry about safe. Worry about what's the upside and what are your other options. If you have other options with more potential upside, sure.
Right. Do a couple of these non-super chats before we get to them. So speaking of DJ Double M, would you trade Bijan for Aaron Jones?
I still don't think so. I mean, okay, I will say this. I did. Aaron Jones will be on the buy low tomorrow because I feel like his value is very low right now. He had a nice game, but what I was really encouraged by was 20 carries, 6 targets, 4 catches. He looks like he's back to being fully healthy. But he's still, stuck in that Packers offense. I mean, look, I can't say that the Atlanta Falcons offense is any better, obviously. He's still stuck in that Packers offense. I do like him a lot this week. Got a great matchup this week, but he's also going to be one of these guys that he's going to be volatile too. He's going to be very up and down too. It's how he's always been. I'd still rather gamble on a rookie running back eventually just getting. Maybe it gets to the point where the Falcons are on the hot, they're barely alive. Arthur Smith is on the hot seat, and maybe he just finally gives in and is like, screw it. Let's just run the rookie into the ground and see if he can carry us to some wins. I don't know. I'm really clutching for straws here, but I still have to go Bijan over Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I mean, talk about safe. Aaron Jones is even farther from safe.
Yeah.
Not just because of his offense, but because he can't stay healthy and he's older. So, look, they might be comparable fantasy-wise the rest of the season, but again, I would still also prefer Bijan. So, it's closer, that's for sure. Pierre DeCoste, is Hubbard droppable because Sanders got worked back in? Nah.
I mean, he did not get – Hubbard played 63% of the snaps, had 22 opportunities. Sanders had 11. I mean, I guess it was better than the week before for Sanders, but this is still Chuba's backfield by a wide margin. I know he didn't go off, but look, one running back went over 100 yards this week. One. One.
And it was Keaton Mitchell in garbage time.
Keaton Mitchell, that's it. I mean, if Hubbard scores a touchdown, we're not even worried right now, right? I mean, he's still got, I think, 11 PPR points without a touchdown or something like that. So, yeah, don't drop Hubbard. Sanders did not get work. He played like 23% of the snaps or something. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't enough. Don't drop him yet. He's still a starting running back for whatever it's worth, even though it's a terrible team.
Yeah.
Sean, yeah, I grew up in UTSA because not just that I live in San Antonio, but my wife and one of her brothers are actually alum from UTSA. So that's it. Got a good reason. Alexander's channel trades Sam Howell and Sutton for Deshaun Watson.
No, just roll with Sam Howell. Sam Howell's been fine. He's been good. I would just roll with Sam Howell. Look, Deshaun Watson stayed healthy, looked okay. That's encouraging, but I'd still just roll with Sam Howell.
I don't think I would even trade Sam Howell straight up for Deshaun Watson. Howell's been better, and Watson, that one touchdown to Amari Cooper was a fluke. It was lucky bounce. I mean,
yeah,
nah,
that's true.
Not doing this. Vinny, what's up? Should I pick up Tank and drop Rice?
I mean, I don't know. I guess, but look, I mean, Rice is going on bye, so I guess nobody's going to be running out. He didn't have like a huge game, so I guess nobody's going to be running out to grab him. But it's not the first time we've seen Tank Dell have a big game. And he didn't necessarily follow that up with another big game. So, and look, that was a crazy game where, number one, they lost their kicker. So they literally could not kick field goals. They had to keep going for it over and over and over again. They would get into the red zone and be fourth down, and they had to go for it because they couldn't kick. And number two, it was just a back and forth shootout, right? It was just a shootout. We're not going to see that every week, especially from this Texans team. So I guess since Rice is on bye, yeah, it's probably fine.
Yeah, no, we'll say with Tank is, remember, after he had gone off a couple of weeks, then he did miss with a concussion. He was out 2 games, I believe, and then they had the bye. So we don't know exactly. Tank might have been putting up better games, but I do feel like I prefer Tank because his booms are much bigger. Rice's booms. Rice is never going to be like a target hog. So I would prefer Tank there. And then Stroud for Howell. I mean, they're both playing pretty well. Who do you prefer? Stroud, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's easy to say Stroud after that huge game, but again, I will say he goes on the road against the Bengals this week. That's not great. He hasn't been as good on the road. He did have that one good road game against the Jags, but the Jags we now know are an absolute pass funnel defense. You just cannot run against the Jags, and then teams just end up throwing the ball a bunch on them. But after that, he gets 3 great home matchups. I think he gets like Denver, Arizona. I was looking at it today because one of our Discord members, Jimmy, was asking about it. He gets like Denver, Arizona, and somebody else all at home. It's 3 straight. He gets, let's see. So after this road game against Cincy, he gets Arizona, Jacksonville, and Denver all at home, 3 straight. So if you want to just chance him this week against Cincy and hope he has to throw the ball a ton and comes through, the next 3 weeks he should be great.
Yeah, both are good. It looks like both might finish top 10 in fantasy at quarterback, which is another strong argument for don't draft a quarterback too early because you can always find a guy off waivers. But yeah, it's close. I think the way he's playing right now, Stroud, less prone to down games and obviously not throwing interceptions. So I guess you can lean Stroud. Crone, Force, 4 and 5, not great. PPR, should I be desperate and make a big trade?
Well, never.
I mean,
you should never be desperate.
Even if you feel desperate, you shouldn't play like you're desperate. But anyways, 4 and 5, you shouldn't be desperate. I mean,
no.
Okay. Let's see the roster here. Mahomes, Chase, Adams, Swift, Monty, Andrews, Debo. You've got good players. You just had some injuries here.
some injuries, and obviously week 9 crushed you, right? Mahomes was terrible. Chase wasn't very good. Adams was terrible. Swift wasn't very good. Monty didn't play. Andrews was good. At least he had Andrews. Debo didn't play. I mean, you can drop Jeff Wilson. Why? Like,
Oh yeah.
I'm not trying to pick on you, Trone Force. I'm just saying, like, why are people still holding Jeff Wilson? I mean, what's the path here? And now they're going on bye, and now all the reports are that Achane will be back in week 11. You can drop Jeff Wilson. You got Dotson. I think you could probably drop Henderson too. I mean, they're going on bye. He wasn't very good. Kyron can't come back till week 12, but I mean, are you really going to start Darrell Henderson in week 11? Probably not. So I think you can drop him too.
Hopefully not. Big trade then. I mean, obviously you don't want to trade away Chase or Andrews, like lose your strength positions. What about Adams? Is this a guy you're trying to trade or to get a more stable asset?
I'm trying to trade Adams. I'm trying to find the person who still believes Adams can be a top 10, top 15 wide receiver because he's Devontae Adams and he's been so great. And like there's people out there. There's people in your league who still feel that way. So I'm trying to trade him. And even if he is, I mean, if you can get back, I mean, like you're going to get Montgomery back this week. Of course, you're not going to have Swift. He's on bye. You're not going to have Mahomes. I mean, obviously don't trade for a QB though, but you should get Debo back this week. So that's a plus. Yeah. I mean, look, if I can package Adams and Kareem Hunt keeps scoring at least. And he's also got name value. If I can package Adams and Kareem Hunt, get like a Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, yeah, I do that. All right, there you go. So Adams is the guy if you're going to make a trade. But you got a good team. You shouldn't feel desperate. You've had some bad luck. Now, another deal. Alexander really wants to trade away Howell. Howell and Sutton for Lawrence. I mean,
Howell's been better. Howell's been better than Lawrence.
Exactly. I mean, I know you feel like, okay, sell high. Sure, you could sell high on Howell, but not for a guy who's putting up the same or worse stats. You know what I mean? Don't feel like you have to trade him away just for the sake of trading him away.
Yeah, and I think the encouraging thing for Sam Howell and the Commanders is Eric Bieniemy. They're just chucking it. Doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter if the game's close. They're still just throwing the ball. They're just like a pass first team. So I would just roll with Howell over Lawrence, to be honest.
And for fantasy, it's a little annoying because he doesn't care who gets the ball, right? Different receivers go off different weeks.
Right.
But Sam Howell's always the one benefiting. He's always putting up big numbers every week. So I guess give some credit to Bieniemy. He's making that pass offense work. With Sam Howell, remember, first-time starter. So I wouldn't do this either. Keep Howell. Juice 420. First loss, finally. It only took to week 9 to take an L. It's okay. Get it out of your system. The Chargers D needs to go off, and I need Zach Wilson and the Jets D to tank tonight. I mean, that's definitely possible. Took a chance on Levis. Minshew wasn't any better. I mean, just weren't a lot of good quarterbacks this week, were there? Except for
there just wasn't a lot of good anything this week. I mean, it's a pretty. I mean, look, I said it all week. I said I think this is going to be a brutal week, right? We have a lot of bad matchups. We have a lot of backup quarterbacks starting. I mean, it was good. It was a good week if you started, Keaton Mitchell, or if you started, I don't know, Noah Brown, which nobody started, or if you started Taysom Hill. Or if you benched Travis Kelce for Cade Otton, it was a great week. If you said, "Hey, I'm not starting that bum Travis Kelce. I'm going to play Cade Otton instead." It was a great week.
You should have seen the Swift factor there. Like, she didn't travel to Germany. You should have benched Kelce.
Exactly. So what are we doing with Kelce the rest of the year? Because she's on that Eras tour now. Like, we got to drop? Are we dropping Travis Kelce now? Is that it?
Trade him.
Trade him.
Don't trade him. Don't do that. I will say this. This is not even a humble brag. This is I should be ashamed. I started Noah Brown in one league. Wow. I did. Which is the same team where I still had Josh Palmer in the lineup. And I wound up losing by like 30 because my team is that bad. But yeah, I did start Noah Brown in one league somewhere. This is some good advice, Joe Lupo, that Art Smith should not be fired. Should instead be fired from Canton.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's against that. All right. But what about this? Miles, Zal, 7-2, 12-team PPR, Fields, Kyler, Etienne, Jacobs, Rashawn. I think we can drop Rashawn too, can't we? Cup, Adams, JJ, Marquise Brown, Rice, JSN, Schultz. Okay, we got 3 offers to think about here. This is going to take some thought here. All right. Kamara and Hopkins for JJ, Rice. I guess that's it. JJ, Rice. DJ and James Cook for Jacobs. Tyreek and Bijan for Etienne, Devontae, and Marquise Brown. Okay, let's start with the first one. Kamara, Hopkins, JJ, Rice.
I think at this point, I'm just going to wait for JJ. You got Etienne, you got Jacobs. Look, Etienne coming off the bye now. Yeah. I'm gonna hold JJ and Rice. Like I'm not already out on Kamara because he had a down game this week. But you have to be a little nervous for Kamara. Because he had 4 catches still, that's great. But you know who else also had 4 catches? Taysom Hill. You know who led the team in carries? Taysom Hill. You know who got the goal line run? Taysom Hill. Like, it's great that Kamara was catching all those passes and scoring touchdowns from 15 yards out. But when those dry up, and they're going to dry up, because this is the NFL, it's not Madden, it's not that easy. I'm really starting to get nervous for Kamara not because Kamara's done. Look, Kamara's been bad this year. If you look beyond fantasy points, you just look at his metrics. I'm more worried for Kamara because of Taysom Hill. What Taysom Hill being used like crazy? So look, you might be 2, maybe 3 weeks at the max away from JJ coming back. You're 7-2. I would just hold JJ and Rice here. Now I will say no, and I'm definitely not doing the second one because I'm assuming that's DJ Moore and James Cook. James Cook, man. I mean, you want to talk about there's nothing. Jacobs looked great, and he looked great on 2 fronts. Number one, he actually looked like the guy we saw last year, as a runner, regardless of the volume he got, just the way he was running. And number 2, the coach, literally said, yeah, we knew he was close to 100 yards, and any chance we can, we want to get him 100 yards. He literally said that, he wants to get Josh Jacobs 100 yards. What is that coach? Arthur Smith is I don't want Bijan to get touches. The new Raiders coach is I want Josh Jacobs to get 100 yards. So I'm holding Jacobs there. Now the last one.
That one's interesting.
And Bijan for it. Ooh, that's the tough one.
That's more interesting now because you're like, oh, Cup and Adams and JJ, but then you're like, Cup, Adams. It doesn't look the same as it did a couple weeks ago.
Right, and you're gonna get Tyreek Hill.
And then Bijan for Etienne.
I mean, I sadly have to. I mean, I already was kind of preferring Etienne over Bijan anyways, because Etienne is getting phenomenal usage, just rushing and receiving. But Devontae and Hollywood for Tyreek, I'll take Tyreek over those 2 guys for sure. Not going to panic because he fumbled and dropped 2 passes. He's going to be fine. Coming out of the bye, he's going to be great. Not going to panic on that. So I think I might take that one.
Yeah.
I take that one.
I think that's the one too. Too many questions with Kamara. Like I said, Jamal Williams back getting some touches. Taysom Hill, of course. Not worth it for JJ. So yeah, I think the last one seems to benefit your team the most. Just having Tyreek Hill. Look, if Stafford comes back and Cup goes back to being Cup, your team could be even better.
Yep.
All right, let's keep going. Let's do a couple quickies here. If possible, 215 Eagles. Basically asking number 1 waiver claim, worth it for Keaton Mitchell. I'm saying no. I'm not doing this.
I mean, this is close for me. I'm not a Keaton Mitchell believer. I don't expect he's going to be Devon Achane. But we're in week 10. Even if he's Achane light, it's such a good offense for running backs. So sad, J.K. Dobbins. Like, how good would J.K. Dobbins have been this year? Oh, jeez. J.K.
I know.
Dobbins would have been a top 10 running back easy this year. Like, no problem. Ugh. So injuries suck. But anyways, yeah, I probably do, honestly. Like, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting? It's week 10. Like, you waiting for week 18? You're gonna use your number one claim finally? Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, we don't we
Well,
don't know. We don't know what you're gonna
no.
get.
I'm not saying I'm hoarding it just for the sake of saving it. I'm just saying I'm not putting in a claim for Keaton Mitchell. That's all I'm saying.
You're not even in the end game leagues where there's nothing. You're not gonna put a claim in for Keaton Mitchell.
Well, in the end game leagues, I know there's no point because someone's going to bid like $38 for him. So
Yeah, I mean, people still have money. Some of the bids in there have been crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I probably do it because worst case, it doesn't work out. Oh well. Oh well. You can move back up the waiver ladder.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm not doing it, but if you want to, you can. All right, let's keep going here. By the way, Jake, I see you on there. You know when GT is. It's supposed to be Tuesday, but this week it's going to be Friday. All right, Amy, NFL girl. Thielen, Taysom, or Lamb and Goddard, who not on IR but might go on IR.
Yeah, I don't understand this trade though. If you have Laporta, I mean, look, give me Lamb. Give me Lamb. This Cowboys offense the last 3 games, they're rolling. They figured things out. They have a fantastic rest of the season schedule. Give me Lamb over Thielen by a mile. I mean, I have to prefer Taysom over Goddard. I mean, I just have to.
Wow.
The way he's being used, is ridiculous, right? It's like throwing touchdowns, running for touchdowns, catching passes. Like, what is going on here? I just wish you were getting somebody else besides Goddard. Like, why are you getting Goddard? You already have Laporta, and he's hurt. He might go on IR.
Well, and she even said afterwards, because somebody said, oh, he's hurt. She said, I could just drop him. Well, so then you're just basically doing this for Lamb straight up.
I would ask for somebody else, even if it's like a bench running back. Like if they have Chuba Hubbard just sitting on their bench or somebody like that, Jerome Ford just sitting on their bench and they don't think he's any good. Somebody like that. But I don't see why. Like, why get Goddard? You have Laporta. Goddard might literally go on IR. He might go on IR. Like they're going into the bye, and then coming out of the bye, he might go on IR. And now he's out until, if he goes on IR, that would be what, week 11? He's out until like week 15. So, yeah. I would ask for somebody else besides Goddard.
Right. I think it's doable to get Lamb, especially now. But yeah, just try to switch out. There's no point getting Goddard if you're going to drop him anyways. So just try to get something valuable.
Yeah.
And then Rob Johnson in a 14-team league, 6-way tie for first. All right. Kyron is available.
Oh, he's available. What's a fair? I thought you were going to say he was
I guess for trade. Yeah, I was like, he shouldn't be. Okay. Hurts, Mixon, Cook, Adams, Thielen, Hawk, Addison, Chuba, Down, Spears, Charbonnet. I almost put
Kyron on the buy low, but I'm like, he can't come back till at least week 12. I think it's probably a little too soon. But I do like going out and getting Kyron. Mixon, I would offer Mixon straight up. 2 good games in a row, 2 touchdowns at each of the last 2 games. I would offer Mixon straight up.
Seems fair. I mean, someone going to be interested in say, hey, I get a startable running back who's getting all the touches for a guy who's injured. I think that's fine. Is that helping this team, though? I'm looking because that means he loses Mixon. He's going to have his top 2 running backs will be James Cook and Chuba Hubbard.
Well, maybe not Mixon then.
At least for what, 2 weeks?
No, more than that. No, Kyron isn't eligible till week 12.
Yeah. So
yeah, at least 2 weeks. Yeah. Maybe not Mixon then. Maybe, but I mean, who else? Addison? But is somebody really trading for Addison right now? Maybe Thielen? I mean, I know he had a down game, but he's been mostly great.
Yeah, I don't know if that helps his team either because of the situation. I wouldn't go as high as Adams.
No.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's tough. What if Downs doesn't come back and play? There's not a lot out there. So, I mean, yeah, maybe Addison might be the one. All right, let's go. Next one, Trigger Trey is down 27. Has Brees and Garrett
Yes.
Wilson left? Can they do it?
I think you definitely have a chance. Definitely have a chance. I mean, either of these guys or both of them could have big games tonight. So yeah, I think you definitely have a chance.
Yeah, for the first time, I'm actually feeling fairly confident
Yes.
in Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Let's see. Joe, what's up? Joe Castles have Waddle looking to trade. Who would you target?
Yeah. Waddle's going to be a tough guy to trade right now, coming off another down game. Now going into the bye, it's always hard to trade guys going into the bye because
Right.
people know, like, I can't use them this week. So maybe wait a week on Waddle. I mean, you can't start him this week anyways. Not really sure, like, what you could realistically get for Waddle. Let me look at my little sheet here that I use.
I mean, question too is what are you looking for? You're looking to trade Waddle just because like you're tired of him, or you want somebody who's a little more consistent, maybe? You think you can get something good out of him?
I mean, I'll say this. Like, if you need to win this week, maybe Waddle for Ayuk. Like, if you need to win this week and you need a wide receiver, Waddle for Ayuk.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's pretty fair.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you need a running back, I don't know.
I know. Who
If
are
you're gonna
you?
be happy with the caliber of running back, like you might have to like take a chance on Aaron Jones or something, and I don't know if you want to do that. So
Yeah, that feels like a big overpay to me.
yeah, and then starter sit Kyler Murray. Are you gonna roll with him?
I'm gonna sit him outside of, like, super flex 2 QB where you have to play him. Like, in a 1 QB league, not gonna roll him out the first week. Look, if your other options are really bad, like if you're like, well, I picked up Will Levis to stream and now it's either Kyler Murray or Will Levis, I might go Kyler Murray. But
Yeah,
in most cases, I'm gonna say no to Kyler Murray this week in a 1 QB league.
yeah. The short answer is always it depends. Would I go Murray over like Heineke? Sure. Tommy DeVito, probably.
Yeah, definitely over Tommy DeVito.
Probably. Baker Mayfield? No, I would go
Yeah,
Baker
probably
Mayfield.
not. I actually like Baker Mayfield this week. He's at home in what should be a good matchup for him.
I was very close to putting him on the waiver wire video, and I didn't. But maybe I should have. I don't know. All right, Rise with another one. Flex Ridley, Dotson, or Higgins?
Higgins. 8 catches, 110 yards last night. Now Chase banged up with that back. I don't know if you saw the catch, but man, that looked painful. Yeah, Higgins, way above these guys. Way above them.
Joe Burrow is cooking now. And yeah, Higgins is pretty much a must start, boarding must start territory. Stroud or Kyler, well, this is an easy example here. Even on the road, I'm going Stroud easily.
Yeah, going Stroud this week.
South Sea, what's up? Would you drop Flowers? Told you I wasn't feeling Flowers this week. Either Dotson, Dell, Quentin, or Hold. Would you drop Flowers? Period.
I mean, I really don't want to.
I mean, look, I knew I didn't want to start him this week, but I don't want to drop him either. But then there's Tank Dell.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to pick up Tank Dell for sure.
Dell, look, this is my problem. This is what I said about Zay Flowers. He is yet to have an actual big game. He has one touchdown, and I don't think he's even cracked 100 yards in the game yet, has he?
I don't think so. What's crazy is like how little they've thrown the ball the last 2 games.
One time His season high is 78 yards. Only one time has he gotten more than 75 yards in a game. Now, here's the thing with Dell. Like, Dell will have down games, obviously. Zay Flowers has had down games. Like, clearly. Like, the last 2 weeks, he's had down games. Tank Dell twice has not gone just over 75 yards, but over 100 yards and has 4 touchdowns. So I'm taking the ceiling there. I would say I could drop him for Dell.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer Dell at this point for sure, but man, I would hope there was somebody else you could drop. But if Flowers is your worst option, then yeah, I would prefer Dell to Flowers.
Right. I'm not picking up Quentin Johnson though.
Not over those guys, no.
Brandon Ahmed, thank you for the Aaron Jones recommendation. I mean, we didn't flat out say yes to him a lot, but obviously your other choice wasn't very good. So,
yeah, I think the times we said yes with one of the other choices were like Darrell Henderson, Chuba Hubbard, guys like that. And we're like, nah, just play Aaron Jones. Just play Aaron Jones.
Right. Joel D167 up 20 have Garrett Wilson. He has Keenan Allen, Gerald Everett.
Yeah, I think you definitely have a chance. I mean, even if Keenan gets 20 somehow, Garrett Wilson should still outscore Gerald Everett. So I do need 6 points from Gerald Everett tonight to win one of the endgame leagues. So we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like Garrett Wilson could have a game just as good, maybe better than Keenan Allen tonight. So I think you have a great chance. I mean, I would be surprised if you lost, honestly. You're up 20. What about this one? Grown folks, Jalen Guyton or Quentin Johnston?
I'll just gamble on Quentin Johnston. Jalen Guyton's never a guy I've really gotten behind. Like,
yeah. Well, I'm
let me
not
see
in
what
on
the
Johnston
rookie
this year,
can do.
but Guyton's just coming back from injury, and I think he's even still listed as questionable, isn't he? I mean, he's not even.
I think they did say he's active tonight, but I'd rather just see what the rookie can do over the next 4 weeks. Like, what is Guyton's upside? One big touchdown, like one big bomb or something, right? Like one big play.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I think I have to say QJ. I'll be interested. I'm keeping an eye on Guyton, though. I am keeping an eye on him. All right, Ron wants his props. Picked up Taysom Hill back in week 5, and he keeps smashing. Here it is. Give us some love. Ron G was a believer. It took us a while. We've come around.
I mean, last week we said yes to Taysom Hill a lot. And I think on the start sit video, we said, yeah, you got to start Taysom Hill.
How can you not start Taysom Hill? The leading rusher for the Saints was Taysom Hill.
Yeah, like I said, it's crazy. And he threw as many touchdown passes as the QB.
AD has Chargers defense and 16-point lead against Keenan Allen.
Gonna be close. I mean, look, if the Chargers defense doesn't implode and they get you points, which, like, I mean, you're not worried about the Jets offense going off tonight. So you should get some points from the Chargers defense. I think you definitely got a chance. It's going to need to be a huge Keenan Allen game, which I'm not banking on against this Jets secondary.
Right. Yeah, this one I don't feel as confident about, but I definitely think 16-point lead, you're in the lead here. Chargers defense should be fine against Zach Wilson. I'd give the edge to you.
Yep.
All right. And then other big news, underreported news from last night, the Cowboys game. Rico exceeded his floor with 8 yards. There you go. The bad news is Phil, a.k.a. Rico guy, is down 35. But you got Herbert, Hall, and Eckler and Dicker. Okay.
You should be good. This is this should be a big Eckler game again. Because one thing about the Jets, you say, ooh, it's the Jets, good defense, but they give up a lot of receptions to running backs. I think they're like second or third as far as receptions to running backs. So this should be another big Eckler game in terms of like catches, which is really what you're looking for from Eckler, catches and touchdowns. He never has big rushing games, let's be real. So, you should definitely win tonight.
Yeah, I would be surprised if you didn't. I mean, you have basically the whole Chargers offense here, except for the receivers and Brees Hall too. Yeah, should win big. Definitely will exceed your floor. Ayush, is Amon-Ra a stud? Is that a question?
Yeah.
He's saying that AJ Brown was selected gets way more. You talking about way more like hype?
Wait,
Probably.
did AJ Brown go after Amon-Ra St. Brown in drafts? I don't think he ever went after Amon-Ra St. Brown in our drafts. Pretty sure he went before Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, they were close. I think AJ Brown was like a late first and Amon-Ra was like an early second, right?
Yeah, I think generally AJ Brown was a little bit earlier.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, look, AJ Brown's also a stud and he's been a monster. So
yeah, I wish I had more AJ Brown this year. I only have him in a couple of places. Is Pollard a bust? I mean, for where he was drafted, pretty much, I think.
Yeah, he hasn't killed you, but he certainly hasn't been worth where you drafted him. No.
Yeah, it's not like he's unstartable, but
yeah, and he does get the Giants this week. It's a great matchup for him. I mean, I think you have to start him this week. You have to roll them again this week and hope.
Yeah, you're gonna start him and just hope. Giants, at the Giants, pretty much a must start. Pretty much. All right, and then we got Bobby Brook with another one. 14 team PPR. Deshaun Watson or Jordan Love rest of season.
Just give me Deshaun Watson. Jordan Love. Look, he threw that garbage time touchdown to Luke Musgrave, and I think he got what did he get? Because I played against him in a 6-point passing touchdown league, and I think he still only got 15 points. Is that right?
That sounds about right. The yardage wasn't
14.
big.
He got 14 fantasy points in a 6-point passing touchdown league. Yeah, I'm done with Jordan Love. Just I'll gamble on Watson.
Sorry, Bobby. Probably not what you want to hear. You're a Packers fan, but he's still. I mean, look, that game was against a Rams team that could do nothing on offense because they had Brett Rippon. I mean, they had the ball all game, and like he wasn't bad. The one good thing, I guess, he didn't turn the ball over. Throwing picks, and he was efficient. I think he was like 20 out of 26 or something. But that's because it was a little more dink and dunk. And for fantasy, it's not going to do it. I think even as much as I don't love Deshaun Watson anymore in fantasy, I prefer him over Love. I think you have to.
At least Deshaun Watson stayed healthy throughout the whole game. We don't have to do this whole. Is he playing this week? Is he not? Is he probably who's like?
Right. See, Unforgiven got Jacobs for Kittle and Ramondre. Do you like that?
Yeah, I think that's a win. I mean, I know Ramondre looked great this week, but really, it was a 64-yard touchdown run. I mean, look, he looks better. He looks a little bit better running the ball, and he's catching the ball. But I think you're going to still prefer Jacobs. I mean, again, I think this is what we need for Arthur Smith. We need him to get fired, and we need somebody to come in and is like, Bijan Robinson is our best player. We're giving him the ball. Like, this coach is like, look, we're giving Josh Jacobs the ball. He's going to get the ball.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about that anymore. Like, it's like he's not going to play the Giants every week, but I think in the end you're going to win this. I think in the end you'll be happy.
Yeah, I think, and it's 1 point per 5 yards. I think, Kittle is a guy who's just up and down. Mondre, I mean, you definitely prefer Jacobs. I think it's worth it. Big Dog Pound got offered Bijan for Deontay.
I mean, look, I like Deontay a lot, but I think I still got to take Bijan Robinson. Is this where we're at? Is he in the Deontay Johnson tier now?
Apparently. I mean, who's been better lately? Deontay Johnson.
That's true.
Can't deny it.
It's easier to find a Deontay Johnson than it is to find a Bijan Robinson, especially right now.
Yeah.
So I'll take Bijan Robinson. I mean, look, I like Deontay. I think Deontay is a no doubt wide receiver 2 from now until the end of the season, assuming he stays healthy. But what is his upside? I mean, he scored and, barely hit whatever. Like, yeah, I'll just gamble on Bijan here. Unless you're desperate, unless you're really hurting a wide receiver and you need Deontay, I'll gamble on Bijan.
Yeah, but you also would have to have a running back that you feel pretty, secure about every week, like 2 good startable running backs. The running backs generally just more valuable because look, even if you say, okay, Bijan's just not an RB1 for fantasy, he's just not going to be this year. He's more like an RB2. I mean, we can't say, oh, he's a bum, he's a bench player. No, come on, that's just ridiculous. Okay, so let's say Bijan's an RB2. What is Deontay Johnson? Is Deontay Johnson a wide receiver 1? No, he's not. He's like a wide receiver 2. So again, just very simplifying, this equation here, but RB2 is going to be more valuable than a wide receiver 2, just in general. So I still go Bijan. Apex Predator. What are the odds? Down 27.68. Got Wilson and Herbert.
I mean, odds are good with you. Even if Herbert doesn't have a great game, I mean, you got to think Herbert's getting you what? 18 at least? I think Garrett Wilson only needs like 10, which I think Garrett Wilson will go way over 10. I think you got a great chance tonight. I'll say 85%.
Wow. All right. Confidence there. I mean, I do think you have a good chance. Feel like Garrett Wilson is, again, feeling like he should have a big game. Herbert should always be able to put up numbers. I'll go more like 65. I mean, I think I prefer your end, but you never know. All right. The Wizard of Odds. Regretting trading Breece Hall for Bijan. You think it's going to be a regret rest of the season?
It could be. It could be. Breece has been coming on, and Robert Saleh is like, Robert Saleh obviously knows who his best players are, and he gets them the ball as much as he can. So, yeah, it could be. It certainly could be. Who would have thought 3 weeks ago that Bijan Robinson, who was tearing it up, and Breece Hall, who was doing almost nothing and barely touching the ball. Yep, it could be.
And I really think it's kind of underreported outside of New York, where they talk about their own teams only exclusively. But Robert Saleh, 4-3, losing Aaron Rodgers for the season on week 1 with Zach Wilson at quarterback and that offense, going 4-3 so far. Great job, and doing the exact opposite of Art Smith. Only throwing to Garrett Wilson on first reads like all the time. His first read target rate is like almost number 1. Using his best players, like you said. Dalvin Cook is complete dust. He's not giving the ball. Like, imagine that. This guy's not good. Let's not give him the ball. Let's not bring third-string tight ends off the bench and target them. Let's just give it to the best players. Wow.
You mean he's not running jet sweep? He's not running jet sweeps with Tyler Conklin at the goal line?
It's jet sweeps with Tucker Kraft and
brutal. So brutal. Robert Saleh is like the anti-Arthur Smith.
Right. Which is why I want to give him a shout out. All right. Let's see. What about this? Adam T. A lot of Bijan talk. Understandably, would you prefer Bijan over Gibbs?
I still got to prefer Bijan over Gibbs. I mean, let's not remember 2 weeks ago before David Montgomery hurt, Gibbs was one of the biggest busts in fantasy football. I still prefer Bijan over Gibbs, yes.
Right. We don't want recency bias to get, too big a hold of us. Yes, Gibbs was great, but Monty's back. I used just my Rachaad White. All right.
This is just a lesson in fantasy football. And the longer you play, the more you just realize there's ups and downs, there's ebbs and flows. Guys get hot, guys get cold. You can't give up on guys too soon. You can't buy into guys too soon. Rachaad White looked like a total bust. And now he's the RB11. He is the RB11 on the season, and he's had a bye week. And he's a top 12 running back right now. Look, I'm not saying I don't know if he's going to do it rest of the season. He could just be on a hot streak, but yeah, like Rachaad White's on fire right now.
That whole offense, Tampa Bay's kind of figured things out on offense. The new quarterback, a little bit of a feeling out period. Basically, the first couple weeks, all he did was throw to Mike Evans, and now like, oh wait, there are other guys I can go to. Like he just feels more comfortable now, apparently. So. Yep. But Rachaad White, they figured out how to use him properly, which is nice. All right, and then Captain Insano, I guess. Insano. Half PPR, Herbert, Eckler, Pollard, Higgins, Godwin, Madison, Bench, Kirk, Connor, Dotson, Mingo. Okay, so what receiver can I get for Kirk and Madison?
I think you can get somebody pretty decent. Kirk's been mostly good. Madison coming off a nice game. And look, can you believe Cam Akers tore his other Achilles? Oh, man, brutal. That's it.
He's done.
He's done. So Madison now that no threat of Cam Akers coming off a nice game. I think you could get like T. Higgins.
Well, he has
Deontay Johnson. Although I don't even know if Deontay Johnson is an upgrade over Kirk. Probably pretty similar.
Probably do better. Amari Cooper? No, he's coming off a good game though.
Maybe Jalen Waddle, Brandon Ayuk, Cooper Kupp if you're feeling risky.
I wonder, you think maybe like an Olave?
Yeah, Olave. Definitely Olave. Although he is coming off a nice game. I don't know, are people still out on Olave, or is it like, okay, he had a good game, so now he's awesome again?
Yeah, I think people are still skeptical there. So, yeah, you should get a pretty good, at least high-end wide receiver 2 at the very worst.
Yeah.
All right. Good news. Ali, what is up? Finally won. Despite Bijan and Flowers, had Stroud. Well, that helps.
Yes.
That definitely helps. So you just need that one guy. Okay, so this coming week, it might be tougher for Stroud, but would you play one of those guys over him?
Goff is interesting going against the Chargers, but it's on the road. Yeah. Purdy, I feel like I was looking, he has a good matchup this week.
Yeah, well, he's on the road against the Jaguars, like you said, kind of a funnel defense.
And coming out of the bye, I mean, I would hope that they will figure some things out. I'm going to trust Kyle Shanahan to come out of the bye, and they're going to be ready to go.
Debo should play, right?
Yeah, Debo was back at practice today. Geno also has a great matchup, but man, what can we expect from Geno at this point?
Yeah, like on paper, like, well, Geno Smith against the Commanders is at home, but still, I after last week, no, I can't be Geno.
And again, like I was saying earlier, Ollie, I might just roll with Stroud. Hope he's good enough this week, because then he gets 3 fantastic home matchups. Like I said, so I might just roll with Stroud again this week. Hope he's good enough, and then you can roll them 4 straight weeks after that, or 3 straight weeks after that.
Yeah, I can't play Geno the way he's looked. Purdy, I don't think he has nearly the upside of Stroud. Lawrence, not against the 49ers. I don't think so. The one I would consider is Goff. I wish it was at home, though. That's right. The thing. So, yeah, I might just go Stroud, too. But congrats on the win. And congrats to Shrek 2 on DVD for being the most entertaining family film out there once again. Dynasty, we got a trade here. We talked about this last week, talking about trading Jacobs. Traded Jacobs, T, and a future first for Bijan and a second. Is that a win?
I mean, certainly, like getting Bijan, I'm still as high as could be on Bijan in Dynasty. Again, it's not like Bijan has been a bust because he's struggled.
Right.
It's, you know what I mean? Like, he looks fantastic. He looks awesome. He's going to be awesome. Once he gets a head coach who just lets him loose, he's going to be incredible. But you gave up T and a first, and look, T is 24 years old. Like,
yeah, that's the part I don't like. You didn't get a receiver back.
Yeah, I probably would have liked this better. Like, if you had not done the first and the second, like maybe if it was just Jacobs and T for Bijan, I might like that better. Or if you'd gotten another young wide receiver back, like maybe if you had gotten, well, you have Downs, you have Rice, you have Zay, Dotson. Maybe if you had gotten another young wide receiver back. So, yeah. I'm totally with trading Jacobs. I would have liked to have kept T, though, if possible.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little overpay for Bijan because, again, you're giving up a really good young receiver and you didn't get one back. And you didn't get a first-round pick back. You got a second-round pick back and you give up a first. So I feel like it's a little bit much I mean, you got who should be the number one dynasty running back, so that's good. It's just losing T might hurt, especially with the state of your receiving core. So, not going to call it a win, but I mean, at least you have something to rebuild with. Jesus traded Cook and Lockett for Debo and Gus. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I gotta prefer this. I mean, James Cook. What happened to the guy earlier in the year that was getting like all the carries and passes, and now it's like they don't even try. They don't even try anymore. They're like, yeah, I'm not even gonna try to run the ball anymore. And then Lockett. I mean, look, JSN is coming on. You know who had the 5th highest first read target share this week?
This week?
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much just gave you the answer.
Sorry, I was looking up a stat. Tyler Lockett.
Well, I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint. It wasn't Tyler Lockett.
JSN.
Yes, had the 5th highest first read target share this week of any wide receiver. Like
surprising.
He's starting to come on. Yeah, give me the Debo and Gus side. Look, I'm not. Look, Gus came through with 2 touchdowns again on what, like 6 touches?
5 carries, I know that.
And 2 touchdowns. Like, look, he's gonna have a game where he does nothing. And he's probably gonna have multiple games where he does nothing because, like Jamal Williams last year, right? Remember Jamal Williams had that run where it was like every week he was scoring and then he stopped scoring and all of a sudden he was worthless. That's going to be Gus Edwards at some point here. But what are we getting from James Cook? We're not even getting
Cook has already had those games where he's done nothing.
Yeah,
and he'll have more probably.
So you gotta wonder. There's some. Give me the Debo and Gus side. Yeah, Debo.
Yeah, you gotta prefer the Debo and Gus side. You gotta wonder Buffalo if there's trouble there. They're what 5-4 now. Josh Allen making some comments about like just doing what he's told and maybe not a fan of the offense. There's a lot of concern there, maybe. But yeah, I like the Debo Gus side.
Yeah.
All right, AD. Don't know what to do with Tua. I don't think you're selling low. I mean, he's still putting up numbers.
Yeah, he hit like that whole off. I mean, the whole game. Everybody had a bad game. Mahomes had a bad game. Kelsey had a bad game. Tyreek Hill had a bad game. Jalen Waddle had a bad game. Pacheco had a bad game. Tua had a bad game. I guess Mostert was okay, but I mean, everybody had a bad game in that game. Like, yeah, I'm just moving on from that. Let's move on. It was Germany. Whatever. Moving on.
They'll be fine. It was one of those games, and their schedule will get a little easier. It gets harder late in the season, but yeah, it'll be better. All right, and then let's talk about this. Boomer wants to point out, and I do kind of know what he's saying. Miles Sanders looked like he had some purpose. I did see that one 11-yard run. He looked like he was running harder than he had been all season. Obviously, he's got to prove himself now, get out of the doghouse. But does it matter?
I mean, maybe as the season goes on, he starts working his way back in. But like, he didn't seem to be in there in crucial downs. Like anytime they got near the goal line, I didn't see Miles Sanders out there. He dropped a very easy pass. Like, yeah.
You know what? It's not running behind the Philadelphia offensive line anymore, is it? It's not playing with Jalen Hurts anymore, is it? It's a different situation. That efficiency is not going to be there. And what he's not doing is what made him valuable is ripping off those long runs, explosive runs. It's not there. So,
yeah.
It just doesn't fit the system as well. All right. So, Pedro Navarez wants to know what you think the score might be tonight.
16-13 Jets.
Jets? Calling the Jets to pull it out.
Yeah, I think the defense is going to do just enough. Hold the Chargers down enough. They'll kick, Jets will get one touchdown. Either Breece Hall or Garrett Wilson will score, or maybe some random guy like Tyler Conklin or something. Kick some field goals. They'll hold the Chargers in check. Win ugly.
I do think it might be an ugly game, but you know what? You're probably right. The Chargers seem to find ways to lose late.
Yep.
And so I don't know if I can call for the Jets to pull it out. I'm still going to say Chargers, but I don't think it's a big offensive output for anybody. So I'm going to say more like 20-17 Chargers. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Sal Palumbo about to be 6-3. That's pretty good.
Nice.
Have Tua, Lamb, Flowers, Jacobs, and Kelsey, and it's a keeper league. I want to say he said he has 3 keepers. Maybe I'm wrong. Hey,
Okay.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Keep it
Good
going.
job,
You got a nice
Sal.
score. Beto, Gamara, got Cup, Bijan, Ford, and Hubbard. Who do I trade for? So you're looking to trade away these guys?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know. Like, if you need to win this week, Cup on bye. Sean McVay did say he expects Matthew Stafford back after the bye. But, I mean, what is Cup's value right now? That's taking a hit. Bijan's value is obviously taking a huge hit. Ford is a guy I am trying to trade for. He is still one of my favorite buy lows. 20 carries, 5 catches. He didn't have a big game, but my goodness, he is clear in a way the lead back in this offense. Like, it's not even close. I know Kareem Hunt scored again, annoyingly, but that's all he really did. Ford is still a guy I am trying to actively trade for. Plus, I think they get a tough matchup this week against Baltimore, but then the schedule really opens up for him. It really gets good. And Chuba, I mean, is anybody really trading for Chuba? I put him on the buy low as like hey, you need a running back getting volume. You can get him for really cheap. Go for it. But that's really all he is. So I mean, Cup is probably your best chance, but do you really want to trade away Cup right now? Probably not.
You'd be selling as low as you possibly could, other than maybe week 1 when people were afraid he wasn't going to play the rest of the season. So I hate to say, but none of these guys are really good sell candidates if you're looking to trade away. I mean, I don't know if you're saying this like, hey, these are my guys that have been disappointing me. I need some help. Like, who should I go after? But again, you're going to have to trade away something to get something. And I don't think you want to trade away these guys right now. So,
right.
Yeah, if you put your full roster, you might have some bench pieces you can trade away. That might help. 95, doing well, definitely. Up 6, he has Eckler. I have Wilson and Hall.
Yeah, you should. I mean, you already have a 6-point lead, so Eckler has to outscore Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall by 6. Could he do it? Yes. Do I feel good about that? No. I like your chances a lot.
Yeah, given the Chargers defense, I think you should feel pretty good. Pretty good. I don't think they'll shut down both Wilson and Hall. Then Joe needs 24 just from Garrett Wilson. Let's go. Can we do it? Yeah.
It's possible. It's a big game, but it's possible. You'll be sweating. Let's go. I put Garrett Wilson on the booms. Let's go, Garrett Wilson. We need a boom. There
you go. Let's see it. All right. And then Mac, 7-2 and a half PPR 12-teamer, got Burrow, Hall, Achane, Chase, Olave, Mark, Terry. On the bench is Tua and Dak. You got 3 quarterbacks here, huh? Now you might want to trade Tua away. Deontay, Javonte, Dell. Okay, well, here we go. See, I spoke too soon. Wants to trade Javonte, Dell, and Dak. All of that just for Aaron Jones?
No. Look, I like Javonte's also on the buy low because he had, I think, 42 carries and 7 targets the last 2 games before the bye. I don't know if I'd rather have Javonte than Aaron Jones, but it's not a big difference. And you're giving up Tank Dell. I mean, is this super flex? Like, why do you have 3 QBs? Is this super flex? If it's not super flex, I'm totally fine trading away Tua or Dak, but I wouldn't trade away Javonte and Dell for Aaron Jones. So this is an overpay. This is an overpay.
Like, I think trading Dak plus a bench player is okay, but all 3 of them, nah. I mean, would you do just Dak and Javonte for Aaron Jones or just Dak and Dell? That even feels too much.
Yeah, no, not for Aaron Jones.
It was somebody. I mean, who's a comparable? I don't know if it's because you really want Aaron Jones, but look, you're getting Achane back in a week. Can't you just roll with Javonte this week and then get Achane back the week after?
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't think Aaron Jones is going to be significantly better than Javonte rest of the season, honestly.
Yeah, like if trade Dak, sure, definitely trade Dak plus maybe something to get a good other RB or wide receiver because you got 3 quarterbacks. You don't need 3 quarterbacks. All right, Phil's back. He said he received Collins in a trade. Was good, but not amazing. Second fiddle to Brown and Tank. Well, I don't think we're panicking on Nico, though. I mean, it's not like he was bad.
Yeah, not panicking on Nico. No.
I'll put it at 2. My panic meter on Nico is like a
2.
Samuel Montero, Kittle, or Jonnu?
Oh, is this where we're at? Arthur Smith can somehow turn, Jonnu Smith and Tyler Algier into fantasy relevant players, but not Kyle Pitts. Give me Kittle. I mean, look, Jonnu Smith took a screen 60 yards untouched for a touchdown. You take that out, Jonnu Smith did nothing. Like, give me Kittle.
Yeah, I still got to go Kittle. Yeah. Stroud or Goff. We kind of earlier said Stroud, but it's close.
Yeah. Goff might be better this week. He gets a better matchup, but I think I want Stroud for the next 4 games, so I'm keeping Stroud.
Also got to consider, Monty coming back. They might get back to their ground game a little bit more, which they want to do. And then if that's Lamar Jackson, you got to start Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I know Lamar's been disappointing, but not starting him over Goff.
No. All right, Amy's back with another one. So, ask for a counteroffer here. He has Pacheco, Gus, Cooper, Hopkins, and Higgins. You dropped Higgins?
What? No. Amy, you did not drop Higgins.
Okay. McCaffrey, Jackson. I don't remember. Do you remember what the earlier offer was?
No, I'm just gutted that Amy dropped Higgins.
Yeah. Can't be doing that. But anyways, let me see. We're gonna have to go back.
The reason I'm gutted is because Amy is here literally every single week.
Yeah.
And we've been telling people, hold Higgins, he'll be fine.
Okay, so here it was. That's right. It was Thielen and Taysom for Lamb and Goddard. And we're like, well, don't get Goddard. So who instead here?
Can you get Higgins back? I
mean, any of those.
It's Thielen and Taysom. I mean, just to get Lamb, I would take Pacheco. If he doesn't, I don't know if he needs Pacheco. He might. He's got Pacheco, Gus, McCaffrey. He might not need Pacheco. Maybe Pacheco. Trying to think of somebody who would realistically do it for. I mean, you can ask for Higgins.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
You get it now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the only one that seems reasonable to ask for is Pacheco.
Yeah.
Maybe Hopkins. But I would say do any of these players instead, and it would be fair.
Yes.
All right, Jeff Scott. Would you trade James Cook for Hollywood?
Yes. Give me Hollywood. Kyler I've had Hollywood. I almost put Hollywood on the buy low again this week, but I'm like, I can't keep putting him on the buy
low. Until the window closes.
But I mean, I've had him on the buy low like every week because I'm like, Kyler's coming back. Like, yes, get Hollywood. Finally. I mean, we thought it was bad with Josh Dobbs. Clayton Tune, that was an embarrassment. Yeah. 58 yards. 58. Like, okay, if you started an NFL game and you had all week to actually prepare, maybe you couldn't get 58 yards. But how many yards do you think you could get? I mean, you could probably dump it off a couple times and they could run. You could get like probably 10 to 20, right? If you played the whole game, you're just dumping it off to guys and letting them do their thing.
Would probably wind up with negative yards because as soon as I get the ball, I would just throw it like 5 yards backwards to Keontae Ingram, and he'd just immediately get dogpiled and just wind up with negative yards. That's what would happen.
All right. But but we're talking about an NFL QB 58. 58.
Right. Although you know what I would do if I was forced to start, like if it was like Quantum Leap and like I suddenly was like in like Joe Montana's body, I would just drop back. I would just throw it like, like when you play, what is the game? Is it 300 or 500? Just throw it like as far as I possibly could, which would be like maybe 5 yards, and just wait and then just hope, because one of those jump balls eventually will wind up in defensive pass interference because the defenders will be so eager, like falling over each other to intercept it, and the receiver will be there, and then eventually I'll get a penalty and I first down. So that's my strategy. Not that I've ever thought about this.
Oh man.
Yes, do that trade.
Yeah, take
AD wants to get rid of Tua.
Oh yeah, we just.
How dare you? Because I have Burrow and Higgins. Okay, fine.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to trade Tua, especially right now. He's coming off a bad game, and he's not playing this week.
Right.
So it's like you can't. He doesn't help anybody. Yeah, this isn't. There's been weeks to try to trade Tua if you have Burrow, but this week isn't it. I think you just have to hold him again. Hope when he comes back from the bye, he has a huge game, and then you can try to trade him. If you still can, because the trade deadline's coming up for most leagues. But yeah, it's going to be hard to trade Tua right now. Like, who's trading for Tua? Like, unless maybe there's a first place team or a second, like a team with a great record that doesn't have a good quarterback that's out there streaming, and they're like, fine, I'll stash Tua because I don't need him this week. I got a good record. But other than that, it's going to be hard to trade Tua right now.
Yeah, it's the worst possible timing because they're not playing. So it still makes sense. I mean, this doesn't help you right now to say you probably should have traded him before this week, but yeah, just wait. You might just have to wait. But you know what? His season-long stats are good enough. He's in that offense, got Tyreek Hill. I mean, you should still be able to get something for him. But if nobody bites, don't be surprised. You might have to wait a week.
Yeah, and I just realized something totally unrelated to that question. This is the Jets' second Monday Night Football game at home this year.
Because they thought they were getting Aaron Rodgers. That's why.
Okay.
NFL thought ahead of time, they thought we were going to.
I thought every team got. I didn't think teams got 2 Monday Night Football games, but I guess Aaron Rodgers, he gets the special treatment. So too bad he's not playing.
New York media bias. All right, Big Edie Brown. Do you think that in New York tonight, Keenan Allen will get 14? Assume full PPR.
If it's full PPR, I think he's got a shot. I don't think it's a lock tonight for him. I mean, this Jets secondary is really good. This defense is really good.
PPR.
Yeah, I definitely think he's got a shot, but I don't think it's a lock.
Yeah, the matchup, makes it tough. He's not in the bag.
Right.
Well, it's Keenan Allen. He's definitely got a shot.
Yeah.
All right, and then 369 Rye starts it. All right, 2 running backs, receiver and a flex. Tila, Heineke, Kyler. All right,
just go with Tila. Heineke, get out of here. You know what? Just the fact that you're the starting quarterback for Arthur Smith, get off my teams. Get off.
Exactly.
Get off. Just get off my teams. Get off.
Guilty by association.
Exactly. Get out of here. And Kyler can't do it yet. Give me T-Law this week.
All right. 2 running backs here. Jacobs, Tony, Bijan.
I'm actually going to say Jacobs and Tony Pollard. I'm going to not because I'm so low on Bijan or so worried about Bijan. It's because he's playing the Giants. They're horrible. They're not going to do anything on offense. They can't stop the running game at all. They're terrible against the run. I'm going Jacobs and Tony.
All right. So more pro Tony than anti Bijan.
Yes. I
think that's fair.
You can't feel good about Tony, but you can this week against the Giants.
Right. And then wide receiver, well, it says starts at 2. I don't know if it means 2 receivers in a flex. I would assume. Okay, Sun got Olave, Addison, and Watson. Well, Watson's hurt. Can't play him anyways.
Yeah, it's got to be Sun God and Olave. And then, I mean, Who did the Vikings play this week?
No, not 49ers. They already played them. Saints.
I mean, you can't feel great about Addison. Do I just roll a Bijan over Addison in the flex? I think I do.
Oh yeah, I guess just flex Bijan. There you go.
I mean, it's the Cardinals this week. They're playing the Cardinals. That defense, even if Bijan gets 10 touches, he can go for 100 yards against Cardinals. I'll go with Bijan in a good matchup against Cardinals.
Yep. I agree. All right. And then we got Alex Sanchez. Would you trade Deontay Johnson or Nico and B-Rob for Pollard?
I would not trade. I don't think I would trade Deontay for Pollard. Again, I just don't see the path for Pollard because the path has been there all year. Like nobody's taking touches from him. It's not like he's getting Tyler Algier.
Right.
It's not like Mike McCarthy is like giving these Rico Dowdle 10 touches.
Nope.
It's just he hasn't been good, and I don't know how that changes. Other than great matchups like this week where he plays the Giants. So I think I prefer Deontay Johnson to Pollard, honestly. But I might do Nico and Brian Robinson for Pollard if you need a running back upgrade. But I don't even know, honestly. Actually, I don't know. I don't think I do either of these, honestly. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think we can call Pollard a buy low anymore. He's just just is what he is. So probably don't do this either. I mean, honestly, I have to look. What's the difference in fantasy points, even in PPR, between Pollard and Brian Robinson? That's probably not that big a difference, if any.
Let's see. I've got it right here. It is Tony. Let me go to. I'm on wide receiver. Yeah, it's probably not that high. Let's see. Brian Robinson is averaging 12.7 per game. Tony Pollard is averaging 13.4.
It's almost the same guy.
Yep.
Sad, but true. All right, last couple of questions here because it's about to be kickoff for Monday Night Football. Mary Jo, you like Goff or Howell this week?
I mean, you got to like Goff against the Chargers, but I mean, Howell's just been so good every single week, and they're throwing a bunch. They get the Seahawks. I'm going Howell still.
Yeah. If it was home Goff, go home Goff, but I think you're fine with Howell. They're throwing. AD was trying to trade him, but everyone grabbed the quarterback from waiver wire. Of course they do. Levis, the league leader, has Geno Smith and no other quarterback. That's impressive and shocking.
Yeah.
Some leagues are like that. We know a lot of leagues, people just love to hoard quarterbacks. I mean, It's all right. I mean, you do what you got to do. Every league is different. Like I said, you can't just say, this, that. All right. And then what about this, Mary Jo? If Fields is back, do you play him and stack him with DJ Moore?
Yeah. I mean, he's not like it depends on who you're playing. If you're like, so is this the one, was she asking about Howell or Goff? Is that her question? Do I play Fields over them? I don't know. I might still roll with Howell this week. I still have worries about Fields. Like, can he grip the football? Can he throw it well enough? I might still play Howell over him this week.
I'd be nervous even if Justin Fields plays, because the whole grip thing. Yeah, I wouldn't run out to start him. So probably not. All right, then let's go back to Halal Sob. Sorry, we late on this one. All right, 4 and 5. How does my team look? Any trade offers? Got Lamar, Mostert, Bijan, Amon-Ra, Andrews, Tank, DJ Moore, Rice, B-Rob, Lenny, Douglas, and Puka.
This team looked a lot better a few weeks ago. I can't lie. I mean, Mostert, I really think Mostert is coming after the bye week. I think this is your last chance to trade away Mostert. This is it. Bijan, let's just hope somehow Arthur Smith gets fired. I mean, you got Amon-Ra, you got Andrews. That's good. You got Tank. DJ Moore could get better now with Fields back. Nice B-Rob, Lenny. Yeah, this looks like a 4 and 5 team to me, honestly. I'm just being real. I'm going to say right now, I am trying to trade Mostert. Go trade Mostert for Deontay Johnson to a team that's desperate at running back.
Yeah.
Go trade him. Well, you have DJ Moore already.
Yeah.
Package him and Tank Dell and get T. Higgins.
There you go. Could get Higgins. I hate to say there's a couple players that really, really had peak high value. I mean, it literally, you had the RB1 and wide receiver 1 in fantasy at one point with Raheem Mostert and Puka Nacua. Those guys were the number 1 players in fantasy after week 3, 4, whatever it was, week 4. And now you're like, do I even start Puka? Mostert, yeah, he's startable, more like an RB2. So, I mean, it's easy to say, trade this guy, trade that guy. You can't always do it. But, yeah, you can try to trade Mostert. Puka, you can't right now. Also going in on bye, but you got some ammo to work with at least. This team, you do have some things. Oh, Tank Dell, this might be a time to sell high on him. People will go crazy after last week. So, there you go. Not bad. I mean, your team is not bad for sure. Caleb Sprunger, would you do Tua and Walker for Bijan and Fields?
Probably. I mean, you got to be really worried about Kenneth Walker. Not to mention, have you seen his schedule? It is brutal. There is not a plus matchup from now until he plays Pittsburgh in Week 17. Are you going to be playing in Week 17 if you have Kenneth Walker? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we don't know right now.
So, I mean,
I think I would do this. It's worth a shot. I mean, I don't know if Tua is like your only quarterback here. Do you think that's too risky? But I guess you don't have him this week anyways.
Yeah, you don't have him this week anyways. Give me Bijan and Fields, and I'll take my chances.
Yeah. All right, last one here from a member. That's Arvin. Trade Herbert, Rice, and Downs for Higgins. Is that too much?
No, I think it's okay. Downs might be going on IR. Like, don't tell the person you're trading Downs to this, but he might be going on IR. Like, I still like Rice, but I don't know if we're going to see Rice ever, like, truly break out this year. And I'm assuming you have another quarterback you can replace Herbert with. Yeah, give me Higgins here. Give me Higgins.
Yeah, I would take Higgins. I mean, only if, which I seriously doubt you would mention this, but if trading Herbert means that you're going to have to start like Josh Dobbs the rest of the season, but yeah, I would do this. Last, and then yes, we are still on the Discord. We have a Discord. We try to jump in there pretty much every day. So you can join us. I'm sure the information for that is probably in the description somewhere. But yeah, check all that out, guys. And of course, don't forget, sign up for Underdog. Probably too late for the Justin Herbert special, but good news. There's another special. There's going to be a Thursday night one. You check for all this week's videos, get information on that.
It's Bryce Young. And I think for even as bad as Bryce Young has been, he can get a yard. I think he can still get a yard.
I am going bold with Bryce Young. Yeah, I think he can get a yard too. Bryce Young, man, the Panthers on prime time. That's a decision that the NFL might regret. But anyways, there you go. All right, so just make sure you check out Underdog. Again, just because the games start, doesn't matter. They have in-game pick'ems. You can bet right now, take picks that you like, and they update throughout the game. It's pretty cool. Also NBA, all the other sports I already mentioned. So there you go. Use promo code ENDGAME to make sure you get all that. We'll see you guys tomorrow.